The theme is Business Interrupted, Navigating the Precarious Cybersecurity Landscape, which is a pretty obvious theme given the geopolitical landscape that we're currently operating in, with the Ukraine and Russia crisis and the various Middle Eastern geopolitical issues. As we know, a lot of warfare these days is fought online, right? And so it's a very relevant theme. So we have 14 different vendors at the stand. I would lie to you if I can tell you I remember all 14 in sequence, but basically it's a cross-section of the entire portfolio. We are very focused around an important theme called Zero Trust Security. And so all the vendors on the stand contribute in some way to Zero Trust Security. What's important is to note that the cross-section of vendors that actually is represented on the stand are those that really represent a Zero Trust Security story. I think it's a continuation of what already started happening in the pandemic, to be honest. So there's two facets to this. One is when you look at during the pandemic, there was a massive rise in ransomware, right? When the ransomware wave kicked off, that continued, right? It hasn't stopped or it hasn't slowed down. What you started to see was a lot of supply chain issues during the pandemic due to ransomware, right? That has kind of come to, let's say, grips because people have started to realize the importance of securing against ransomware. But so you hear less news these days about ransomware attacks. And today, the most current threat, of course, is this Russia-Ukraine crisis, where anyone that has some kind of direct or indirect link to either country is at risk. So if you think about how big that scope is, whether it be retail, FMCG, oil and gas, energy, government, embassy, I mean, the list is huge. Anybody with a direct or indirect link to either two countries is a potential risk because they become part of that supply chain. So the same supply chain issues that happened last year because of ransomware still continue, but now not because of ransomware anymore, but now because of the crisis that's going on. So I think it's a bit of continuation, but a softening on the ransomware piece, but more on the crisis and how that's impacting the supply chain.